Hello everybody, welcome to another one of my investing videos. My name is Mark, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can manage your calls and puts, and you can do it at a profit. And so first things first, today is March the 7th, 2019, and the market is going to open in another couple hours or so. But just yesterday I bought to open a put option, and this is the put that I bought right here. Oops, sorry, that's the one that I sold. Let me go to the put that I bought. It's a $115 put option. It expires in 2021 of January, so that makes it a leap. And let's go to the transaction here so you can see. And so I spent, there it is right there, I spent $1,450 and some change. And then I sold to open a 111 put, and it expires on March 15th. That is 9 days from now. Actually, now it's 8 days from now, and I got $83 for it. And so if I were to make $80 every 9 days, let's say, then I'm making more than $200 a month. And in 10 months, that would be $2,000 on my measly $1,450 investment. So you can see why I like these diagonal spreads. But let's go back to my account here and let me explain what I did. So I bought this put option, and actually I need to go to the chart. Okay, so let's take a look at Microsoft, and I'll show you why I did all this. Okay, so this is a long-term chart on Microsoft. Okay, this is over the last 5 years, and you can see Microsoft has been doing very well until it finally hit the headwinds right there, which incidentally is the same thing that the entire stock market did. The entire stock market has been on a rip-roaring tear until a little while ago when it's finally hit some headwinds. And Microsoft hit some headwinds, and but before the headwinds, I think it's safe to say that Microsoft was in a nice bull run, a nice upward trend, but the trend has come to an end, and now it's turned into a ranging stock, right? And so let's make that disappear, and now let's scroll up to 6 months. So this is a 6-month chart right here, and this little part right there, that's the tail end of the bull run, and then this is where all the headwinds start, and you can see that it's done all sorts of nonsense. And but now if we were to draw some lines, and we'll draw an upper line like that, and we'll draw a lower line like this, it's safe to say that Microsoft is now ranging stock, and it's kind of going up and down based on the latest news, tariffs, trade wars, whatever, China, or whatever's going on in the news. But one thing I can say is that Microsoft no longer is a trending stock, and it is now a ranging stock. And it did go down here once, but I don't pay attention to that because it came right back, and it's just resumed its range. So this down here is a smoke screen. So the range is from this part right here and this part right here. So let me reset all this and redraw my lines like this to make it look nice and neat. And now let's map out the range here. So the range looks like it's from about the 111 to the 112 would be the upper limit. That's known as the resistance. And then the support level down here, that's down at about the $100 level. And that's the very bottom though. But really the range would be more like at the 103, 104. Okay. So again, the 5-year chart, the headwinds right there. Okay, so that's the first thing that made me make a decision to buy a put option. And then the second thing was that it is, and let me go back to this here. Oop, that's a 3-month chart. Let me go back. Here's a 6-month chart, and let me close all this out. So it's near the top of its range. Okay, now just because a stock goes to the top of its range, that does not mean that you can just blindly say, well, let's see, Microsoft's at the top, now it's going to go down, right? I don't make guesses like that. I put at least a little bit of logic in there. So if I were to zoom up to this little part right there, and let me go ahead and do that. Let me make a little zoom there like this. Okay, and so there's that little part right there. And so this would be, since this right here is February 22nd, today is March the 7th, so that's in about the last maybe 2.5 weeks. Okay, And if we look here, actually, let's go back. Let's unzoom it real quick. So if we look here, right, Microsoft ranging, went down to one time and then ranging. Now it's at the top. Notice how tight and narrow that is. That means that Microsoft, it's almost like it's trying to make up its mind. Which way does it want to move? Does it want to go up or does it want to go down? That's one of the things I learned about these little narrow ranges, is that the stock is trying to make up its mind. Is it going to break up or is it going to break down? Right? And so now let me rezoom it there, and I'm going to tell you why I believe it's going to go down. Okay, the reason why I believe that it's going to break down is because it went down here, and then it went up, and it had a little down day, and then it went up, and then it had a big down day, and that would have been yesterday, or maybe, what's that, March the 4th, so I guess that would have been like 2 days ago, now 3 days ago, because it is the next day. So I look at this, and then it went up, and then I look at this, and then it doesn't even go up again. So all of this tells me that the downward pressure is increasing in this little narrow range. And so when I see all this, and I see the let me get out of that and let me erase all that. When I see this downward pressure increasing in this little narrow range right there, in this little narrow range, in a ranging stock, okay, a stock that is ranging, that has come to the end of its bull run, right? The trend has come to an end, and now it's a ranging stock, and it's at the top of its range, and in that narrow little margin, this little narrow thing right there, and zooming in, right, when I see this downward pressure increasing, I see, hold on, let me erase all that. Boy, what a pain in the nugget all this is. So when I see this downward pressure getting bigger and bigger, right, because this was some downward pressure, but this is more downward pressure, and after the first downward pressure it went up a little, but here it doesn't even hardly go up. It had this one little thin wick, right? And so that's almost like the bulls are saying, well, I want to buy, but nope, not going to happen. It just came right back down. So the downward pressure is increasing. That's what made me decide to buy a put option on Microsoft yesterday. And the other reason why I decided to buy a put option is because I've said it multiple times as I've got into Microsoft, and really as I started jumping back into the game for this year, that my target, I'm trying to make a 30% return on my money, and that would be about a $10,000. I want to make at least $10,000. I want to get this well over 40 grand before December rolls around next year, or I mean January, whatever, right? And I can't do that. Now the safe thing for me to do would be just to close out of my 110 call, because my profit on my 110 call, I'm up real nice. And if we go back to my transactions and we take a look at my 110 call, my 110 call is right there. That would have been on February the 15th, about maybe 3 weeks ago. I spent $1,460 for a $110 call. And if we look at my $110 call, the bid is $1,630, the ask is $1,730, so maybe $1,680. So I'm up about $250 on my $110 call. Now, this $112 call, the bid is $115, the ask is $120. So let's say I get out for $115, and so I'm up, what did I say, $250, and I get out for $120. That would put me at a $50 debit, and so basically I'm up $200, and I could have just got out of this, right? But if I did that, then I'm basically back down to one call option, and good luck trying to make 30% return trading one Lone Ranger call option. So I decided, instead of getting out of the call, just as good would be just to buy a put option, because when you buy a put options are contracts to sell, and since I believe personally that Microsoft is going to go back down to maybe even the 105 levels, I'm not sure, I decided to go ahead and hang on to this 112, and I'm planning maybe even possibly doing a rollout. Maybe when the market opens here in a couple hours, I'll see what Microsoft does. But when I look at Microsoft and I click on it right there, look at the pre-market, it's already down 53 cents. So I think so far it's looking like that I made the right decision getting a put. And who knows how far it'll go down in one day, but I think over the next few days, over the next week, it might go back down to those previous levels that I was pointing out here. So let me unzoom this. It might go right back down to these levels here, maybe 108, 106. And when that happens, then I have two call options and a put option. And when Microsoft does go down, then I'm just going to start. Well, first of all, these contracts will go to zero, and this 108 call I sold to open, it expires March 22nd. Today's March 7th, so that's in about 2 weeks from now. And so I'll make all this money, and this 112 will expire worthless, and it'll go to zero. And then I'll just start selling more 112s. I'll start selling some more 108s, and I'll continue collecting premium. And I don't think I'm going to have a big problem making that $10,000. That's the feeling that I have. And but time will tell. Time always will tell the truth about whether who's right, who's wrong, if I really know what I'm talking about, or if it's all just smoke. But the bottom line here is that when you start trading options, it's not like stock, okay? You cannot passively invest in options. You have to actively manage the options. With the stock, you can buy the stock, you can pick a good company, or you can put it in a mutual fund, and you can dollar cost average. You don't have to worry about it. But with options, that is not the case. With options, when you buy a calls, puts, you sell calls and puts, whatever, you have to manage those. If you don't, you're going to lose money. But if you do manage them, you're going to make way better return on your money than you'll ever make buying and selling stocks. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. As always, if you have any questions about anything that I talk about, options or what I'm doing with my money strategy or whatever, feel free to leave in the comments section. And that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.